Hey third graders, Mrs. Selfridge here with my trusty math helper, Dolly. Dolly, say hello. Oh, nothing. Okay, so today we're going to start with a new lesson. It's on measurement and capacity, and you're going to need to turn to page 633 in your book. All those vocab cards you cut out yesterday will be helpful today if you looked at them and looked at the definition. Today we're going to start with capacity. The amount of liquid a container can hold is called its capacity. Capacity is also known as liquid volume. 1 unit is one specific amount of measurement. A metric unit is the unit of measure in the metric system. 1 metric unit of capacity is a liter. This water bottle holds about a liter of water. This is a water bottle. You guys have seen them at school. You've had them at school. This is about a liter, okay? Find 3 containers. This is where I'm going to need you to probably pause the video after you read the directions here. Find 3 containers in your house. Estimate whether each holds less than, about, or more than 1 liter. Write the name of the container, mark your estimate, an example is shown. So they used a water glass. So you might want to find a water glass in your house and see if it contains about a liter. Remember, about a liter here, okay? So mark your answer, okay? So this is up to you to do. You're going to see, is it less? Is it more? Is it an actual liter? Okay? So go ahead and stop the video here and you can go ahead and fill your own in. Okay, a water glass has usually less than a liter of water. Some water glasses may be bigger than others. And then hopefully you filled in the other 3. Okay, pour liquid from the container into the 1 liter measuring cup to check each estimate. Record your results in the table. To measure the liquid capacity of smaller containers, you need a smaller unit of measure. A smaller metric unit of capacity is a milliliter. A dropper holds about 1 milliliter of liquid. Mrs. Selfridge thought she had some of these laying around from when my girls were little. You may remember when you have, or maybe you still have medicine now that comes in a dropper. It's a smaller way to measure things. We use milliliters to measure containers that have less capacity. 1 milliliter is equal to about 20 drops of water, okay? So when we think of smaller things, we measure those with milliliters. Bigger things we measure in liters. Okay, about how many milliliters do you think a teaspoon holds? Estimate its capacity, record your estimates. Okay, I happen to have a teaspoon. This is what a teaspoon looks like, okay? It's like this, or if you want to use something a little more specific, you can go with something that's like a measuring spoon, a teaspoon. So if you have those at home, go ahead and get some of those out. Those might be helpful right now. Again, pause the video if you need to. So about how many milliliters do you think a teaspoon holds? Estimate its capacity. Record your estimate in the table. If you have a dropper, that's great. If you don't, let me just kind of help you out on this one. There's actually about 5 teaspoons. Okay, 5 milliliters in a teaspoon. Sorry, 5 milliliters in a teaspoon. Okay, and actually on my measuring thing, it actually even says that. 1 teaspoon is about 5 milliliters, okay? And in a paper cup, we have about 100 milliliters. So see how many what do you think? Just do your best guess. Maybe you put down for your container was a glass. Maybe how many milliliters do you think a glass would have in it? Okay, just record your estimates. Okay, fill a teaspoon with water. Empty it into a metric measuring cup. Continue until the liquid is to the 10 milliliter mark. Now, Mrs. Selfridge does happen to have one of these too. This is an old one. It's kind of hard to see the 10 milliliters on here. So I went ahead and got a turkey baster. And on the turkey baster, you can easily see the 10 milliliters is right about right here. It's right there. So about how many teaspoons did you use? So to fill this up to about right here, I'm probably going to use a couple teaspoons, okay? I'm going to go ahead and help you out. Together, about 2 teaspoons have the capacity of 10 milliliters. What's the capacity of 1 teaspoon then? 1 teaspoon, like we said earlier, has 5 milliliters, okay? 5 milliliters. Estimate the capacity of a paper cup and 2 other small containers. Record each estimate in the table. Okay, so this is a time for you to pause if you want to. Again, your estimate is your guess. And then if you can actually test your own, go ahead and do that. Pour liquid from each small container into the measuring cup to check each estimate. Record your results in the table. If you have measuring cups and measuring spoons and anything that you want to try this with, go ahead and try it. This is a great time to try it, especially if your measuring cup says milliliters on the side of it. Most do. Okay, here's just a few examples. You'll have 2 more to add to on your own. Okay, how did you determine an estimate for the paper cup? You probably guessed. You used what you learned about capacity of a teaspoon and the amount of liquid that was in 10 milliliters. Then you used mental math, okay, which is another fancy word for guessing, maybe, with your mental math. When we write milliliters, you notice it's a lowercase m, uppercase L, okay? Try to remember that. Okay, circle a better estimate. Circle the better unit to measure each capacity. So when we're talking about a pot of soup, would we measure that in something small, or are we going to use something big? Okay, think about a juice box. Small or big? A wading pool, like the kind you had when you were smaller. Are we going to measure that with milliliters or liters? Remember, milliliters is for smaller items, liters is for bigger. A bottle of glue, a pitcher of lemonade, and a fish aquarium. Go ahead and do your best guesses on those, and let's see how close you are. Okay, liter, pot of soup, has a lot of soup. Juice box, small. Wading pool, a lot of water. Bottle of glue, small bottle, right? Pitcher of lemonade, I'd probably go with a liter on that one too. And a fish aquarium, not the kind Debbie was in, bigger than Debbie's. Okay, circle the better estimate. This is a teapot, this is a bathtub, and this is a pot for stew. So kind of keep that in mind as you're measuring. Again, small milliliters, large liters. Okay. All right, circle the better estimate. So we have here, it's like a quart of milk, not your small, well, it could be like your small lunch size. Then we have a teaspoon, and then we have a bottle of bubbles. All kind of small, right? All kind of small items. How much water is in each container? Circle the amount. So they just want you to look here on the side. This is milliliters. So what does this water go up to? You can easily see that here that it goes up to 300 milliliters. And right here, you can easily see this one goes up to 200 milliliters. So go ahead and finish those. Now look at this one. Riley bought 2 juice boxes. The capacity of 1 juice box is shown. What's the capacity of 2? So if one of them is 50 milliliters, what's 50 plus another 50 equals 100 milliliters, okay? And then be precise. Avery's recipe asks for 100 milliliters of milk. She only has 10 milliliter measuring cup. How many times will she need to fill her measuring cup to get the right amount of milk for her recipe? Those of you that were on your 10s or higher in multiplication easily know that this one is 10 times. Because when you make this a division problem, 100 milliliters divided by 10 milliliters equals 10 times. Or you could reverse it and do 10 times 10. Okay? Anna recorded the amount of water she gave her tomato plants for the past 5 days. The table shows the amounts of water Anna recorded. How much water did Anna give her tomato plants in the last 5 days? Take a moment, look at that one. What do you think? 66 milliliters. Hopefully you know where that came from. Did you just add up all of yours? What did you do? Okay, model the math. Name 3 items sold in a grocery store that are packaged in liter containers. I showed you one earlier. Orange juice is another one. Milk is another one. And water are all actually packaged in a liter. You can buy them in liter containers, okay? And number 20, why are there two different units of measure for measuring capacity? Well, it's quicker to measure capacity of a large container with a larger unit. Smaller capacities of liquid are more easily measured using small units. Okay, more precise measurements. Okay, this is your homework. I'm going to go through your homework a little bit with you and tell you what a few of these things are. This is nail polish. This is like a soup can, and Mrs. Selfridge is actually going to flip this up for a second so you don't see the answers here. And then we have a gallon jug of milk, and that's a baby, like a sippy cup that you had when you were smaller. And then we have, you're just gonna circle how much water's in each container, circle the correct amount. And then for question 7, Ian is going to water his plants. Is it reasonable to say he will fill the watering can with 3 liters of water? Okay, think about that. And Gianna is heating a can of soup for lunch. Is it reasonable to say she is heating 3 milliliters or 300 milliliters of soup? Okay, think about that. I think Gianna is hungry, so... And then Vincent is painting all 4 walls of his bedroom. Is it more reasonable to measure the paint he will use in milliliters or liters? Remember, precise, and we want to make sure that it doesn't take us like forever to measure that, okay? The size of your bedroom is pretty big. Okay, and then there's just a vocabulary check for you guys to go ahead and finish on your page too. So just draw your lines straight. Mrs. Selfridge will go ahead tomorrow and post your answers. I hope you do well, and I miss you guys so much. Take care. I will talk to you next math lesson. Bye.